All right, well, let's look over the syllabus. So, over here is a link to the syllabus on the Start Here page. There is, the syllabus thing. So you got to this page on the syllabus somehow or other. I get there, and here's our section-specific stuff. College-wise policies, every syllabus has these. So here is specific to our course. You click on that, you open it up, and general info, we've got our course name, number, that sort of thing, and my contact information, 270-384-8105. That's my office phone. Now, I have right now office hours by appointment. I just think that's easiest. We've been told all office hours are to be virtual. Well, I don't imagine setting up like a Google Meets that's just there and open at the same time every day, and I'm working and trying to decide, going back and forth trying to figure out if somebody came on Google Meets. So I just think it makes more sense to say by appointment. I suppose the administration or somebody may tell me, no, you can't do that. You have to set some specific hours, and we'll come back to that then. But so, course description, prerequisite, some sort of pre-calculus. You should know some trig before you take this course. Logarithms, I've seen those, that kind of thing. And required text, 10th edition of Calculus by Larson, Hostetler, and Edwards. We'll also, other resources, we'll use Sage Cell, we'll look at that in a minute, and Decimalist Calculator, we'll use that. Very nice technologies for doing mathematics. Objectives of the course, we want to learn some calculus through algebra, numerical, and graphical kind of representations. We also want to use some technology. Learning outcomes, again, you can take a look at those. These are kind of, the learning outcomes are somewhat how we grade the rubrics, kind of on these basic ideas. Did you explain your steps that you took, and that sort of thing. Okay, here's what you really care about. How is your grade figured? Well, we have grade components. We have homework. Got to do a lot of homework. You cannot let the homework go, the book work. You just have to do it. No matter how much you think I over-assign homework, I am not assigning nearly enough homework. You need to do a lot of basic problems as well as the other stuff, the projects and discussions and quizzes and so forth, to really get to know this stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a skill. Mathematics is a skill that you work on, just like hammering in a nail or carving wood or something like that. It is a skill. And working with your brain in a lot of ways works like a muscle. The more you train it, the better it does. And so, there's a lot you want to do to really learn the material. So homework, that counts as 10%. The discussion's 10%. The quiz is 5%. So there's 25% of your grade are sort of these small, what I'll call sort of smaller things that actually are not too intense. I mean, the homework you do at your leisure. I mean, don't be lazy, but it's at your leisure or at your decision what time and so forth you do that. But you'll work on the homework. The discussions, they're not a high stakes sort of thing. You go out, you look for something, you look it up, you talk about it well in 250 words, and look at other people's and make reasonable comments and so forth, and you get the points. It's just not that big a deal. Quizzes, you'll get 2 shots at each quiz. So again, not a real high stakes thing. So this 25%, not so high stakes. Exams, yeah, we'll have up to 4 of them. I'm not sure how many because of this format and so forth. And some may be in class, some may not. They may be all take home, they may be all in class. We just kind of have to see how things go after the first couple of weeks and kind of figure things out that way. Typically on the exams, you are allowed to bring in, at the very least, bring in notes of some kind, a reference sheet. A lot of people will call it a cheat sheet, but I don't like that, mainly because, well, if it's a cheat sheet, I should take it away from you and not let you use it. Whereas if it's a resource or reference sheet that I've allowed you to have, oh, well, then that's fair game. But as soon as you put cheat on it, you shouldn't have it. So I don't like that name. But anyway, some sort of reference sheet usually with the exams, but also we'll use technology on exams at times. And but those are more of a high stakes thing, right? You somehow you take the exam, you turn it in, and you get points, and end of story. The projects, those again are not so high stakes. Definitely the first few, I pretty much tell you, push this key, right? And as long as you do it and then communicate well what you've done, you're good. You're going to get a lot of points. So those aren't too bad, and hopefully we build to where you're very comfortable with those, and I don't have to tell you to do so many things, and kind of leave it a little more open-ended. And then of course the final exam, that will be out of class because that's just the way they're structured. We have a final exam time. Actually, we have 2 possible times. Because we meet on Monday and Thursday, and but that final exam, 20%, it will be a take-home style exam. It will be cumulative or comprehensive, and that's where your points come from. I think that adds to 100%. And then how do we do your grade? Well, I just, it's a weighted average because each of these have a different weight, but I take those points, create the weighted average, and a weighted average number of points, and if you end up 90 to 100, you have an A. If you make an 80, that's a B, 3.0, 70, that's a C at 2.0, 60 a D, and middle grades in between there. Topics. We hit quite a few topics. We start with Chapter P. Now these first 2 modules are each a week long, and then the rest are each about 2 weeks long. Okay, so just because of the, we really only have about 13 weeks of classes. Technically speaking, it's 15 by weird counts because we start on Saturday, which counts as a whole week because it's not Sunday, and then we have our final exams that last week before Thanksgiving, that week of Thanksgiving. And so if you count that way, we have 15 weeks, but if you actually count real live weeks, we've got 13 weeks, and so we're trying to fit these 8 modules in just 13 weeks. Normally we would fit them into 15 weeks, and take a week for module 1 and then a couple weeks for each of the others. But what we'll do this time around is the week for module 1. Module 2 we'll just do a week on, and so that leaves us 11 weeks for 6 more modules. So that'll be about 2 weeks each. Not exactly, but we'll we'll take care of that other week later on in the semester. Okay, so education stuff there, important dates, and then you can go to the other file. This says beginning on next page. I guess I need to fix that, but it's in another file. This must be an old template I had. There you go. That's the syllabus. You know, those are the big things, the points and so forth. And just let me then go back here. And over here we have links to Desmos and SageCell. So Desmos Calculator comes up. You can log in. Once you sign up, you can log in and save things. So for instance, if I say log in and I start my email here, it remembers who I am, and I log in, and then over here, look at all those are a bunch of graphs I've made and saved. So that's what's nice about being able to have a Desmos account. Okay, so there's Desmos, and then Sage MathCell is an online place where you can do some Sage Math, which is a computer algebra system, and it's awesome. We'll see it has limitations, but on the whole it's awesome. And so that's one of your other resources. And of course we did mention the textbook. If I click there, you know, there's your 10th edition calculus, and there we go. I think that's the syllabus.